What if everything you thought you knew about women was wrong? Imagine discovering that the common stereotypes you've heard are not only inaccurate, but potentially harmful. What if I told you that understanding women might be as simple as looking at the numbers? In this video, we'll challenge some of the biggest misconceptions about women and reveal surprising truths backed by real data. Are women truly more promiscuous than men, or is that just a myth? Let's dive into the facts and reshape how you view the world. The evolving sexual marketplace. The landscape of dating and relationships is constantly shifting, and recent data provides new insights into these changes. For instance, let's look at a graph depicting the number of sexual partners people in their 20s have had. You might find it eye-opening. The data shows that the majority of individuals, both men and women, have had between 2 and 4 sexual partners. There are also notable numbers for just one partner, or between 5 and 10. So, if you're a person in your 20s and have had between 2 and 10 partners, you're actually quite typical. A changing trend. One of the most interesting aspects of this graph is how it reflects changes over time. In the 1990s, 11% of young men were virgins. By the 2000s, this had dropped to 9%, but it rose again to 15% in the 2010s. This 40% increase in male virginity is significant, and it might continue to rise. The misconception about women. Let's shift our focus to women. Many people, especially those who frequent certain online communities, might leave with the impression that most women are highly promiscuous, engaging in sexual activities with multiple partners regularly. But is this really the case? Let me pose a question. What number of sexual partners would you consider a woman in her 20s to be promiscuous? Is it 10 or more? If your definition of promiscuity is having 10 or more partners, you might be surprised to learn that this is quite rare. When you add up the numbers, only about 10% of women in their 20s have had 10 or more partners. Even if you include women with 5 to 10 partners, the total rises to just 30%. This means that 70% of women in their 20s have had fewer than 10 partners, suggesting they are not as promiscuous as some stereotypes might suggest. Understanding emotional reactions. It's important to recognize that emotional responses can cloud our perception of reality. If you've had a crush on someone who didn't return your interest and you've seen them with other partners, it might feel like all women are like that. However, the data shows otherwise. The idea that we are experiencing an epidemic of promiscuity among women doesn't hold up when we examine the statistics. An interesting trend. There is, however, an interesting trend at the top end of the spectrum. The number of women who have had an extremely high number of sexual partners, like 50 or more, has seen a notable increase. Historically, this category was negligible, but now it shows a 500% increase compared to previous decades. Although this still represents a small minority, it's worth monitoring to see if this trend continues. The bell curve of sexual partners. One intriguing observation from the graph is how sexual partners are distributed between genders. Women tend to be clustered around the average number of partners, while men are more likely to be found at the extremes. For example, men are more likely to have either 0 or a very high number of partners. This pattern mirrors other areas of life, such as wealth and intelligence. The variability hypothesis. Why do men often end up at both ends of the spectrum? This can be explained by the variability hypothesis, also known as the greater male variability hypothesis. Historically, women had a higher likelihood of reproducing, which led to a more conservative gene distribution. In contrast, because fewer men historically reproduced, evolution favored a wider range of traits among men. This genetic variability means that men are more likely to experience extreme outcomes, both positive and negative. Applying the hypothesis to real life. This variability hypothesis helps explain why men are more often found at both ends of the bell curve. Men who want to stand out need to take risks and be noticed, which might lead to significant successes or failures. This genetic diversity results in a broader range of experiences, from having very few partners to having many. Personal growth and empowerment. Understanding these trends can be empowering. While it's easy to feel limited by societal expectations or personal experiences, Recognizing that you can influence your own path is crucial. By gaining knowledge about these dynamics, you can make more informed choices in your own life. Improving yourself through self-care, education, and personal development can help you achieve your goals and build healthier relationships. By examining data and challenging stereotypes, we can gain a clearer and more balanced view of gender and relationships. This understanding helps us navigate our interactions with empathy and insight, ultimately fostering better connections and personal growth. If you found this video informative, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next video.